What is Riz? And what would happen if I took a terribly written essay about Riz and had it edited by professional paid essay writers? Well, let's find out. Okay, so I didn't write this essay, but ChatGPT is. And it seems like ChatGPT had no idea what Riz is at all. This is what ChatGPT said. Riz, it's like this thing, you know? It's all about having attraction and being smooth. Or at least that's what I heard from someone once. Come on. First of all, to acquire Riz, you gotta look in the mirror, but not just any mirror, like a magical one or something. And then you, make a face? What is this? Yeah, like a really attractive face, but don't try too hard or it won't be Riz. It's all about that effortless charm or something. Next, you gotta wear fancy clothes, but not too fancy. You know what I mean? I'm not sure I do. It's like casual fancy, but not too casual, cause that's not Riz. It's a delicate balance, like trying to walk on a tightrope made of spaghetti. Bruh. But the most important thing is the hair. You gotta have, hair that's, perfectly messy, but, on purpose, you know? It's like you woke up and just happened to look that good. And, maybe use some secret hair products that nobody knows about, cause that's Riz, right? In conclusion, Riz is all about being attractive and smooth, but not too attractive or too smooth, and you acquire it by, doing some mysterious mirror magic, wearing semi-fancy clothes, and having hair that's messy but perfect. Yes, that's Riz for you, I think. Okay, that was absolutely horrible. So this got me thinking, let's have a professional essay writer edit this essay for me in the format that all schools want their students to write. So I did some research and I found killerpapers.org. Killer Papers says that they are the premium paper service for high school, college, and graduate students. So I got in touch and I sent them this heaping trash pile of an essay that ChatGPT wrote. I waited a few days and I got the essay back. And I'm gonna tell you right now, the way they edited this essay is absolutely incredible. And honestly, I learned so much about the word Riz. Let's dive right in. Now, I'm gonna read this essay just straight from the document, so sit down, get comfortable, grab yourself a Snuggie, maybe some snacks and a Hawaiian punch, and let's get to it. Essay is titled, Puttin' on Riz. Social media is abuzz with a new word that users are frequently using and discussing in online conversations. The word is Riz, and it's one of the more recent additions to the Urban Dictionary. Like many slang terms, the origin of Riz are somewhat debated, but its meaning is clear and generally accepted in the online community. Understanding what Riz is and how one acquires it can give people an advantage in social situations where competition for attention is fierce and the rewards are high for the person who uses their Riz to its full potential. Now, right off the bat, what an incredible first paragraph. I'm hooked. I'm ready. What is Riz? How do I get it? Let's keep going. Like many terms in the modern social lexicon, fancy. Riz is an abbreviation of two separate words. The term describes a person's romantic charisma. Riz. Romantic charisma. I bet you didn't know that. That is, their ability to effortlessly charm a potential romantic partner. Riz is the modern version of what older generations would have called game. You got game, I got game. No, not anymore. You got Riz, baby, I got Riz. Riz can be used as either a noun, whereby a person has Riz, or a verb, as in to riz up someone, or use charm to seduce them. Oh, saucy. The word was popularized in online dialogue by social media personality Kai Cenat in 2021 Twitter post. Since then, the social media landscape has embraced the term and is now part of the average teenage vocabulary, even expanding into different types of Riz, including W-Riz, unspoken Riz, and L-Riz, which is a type of Riz that nobody should aim to develop. Since its induction into the Urban Dictionary, one of the most pressing questions to be answered is whether Riz is talent-based or if it is a skill that a person can develop over time. The good news is that, according to science, Riz is something that anyone can learn, and its use is not just for attracting potential romantic partners. Haha, here we go. How do we get Riz? Some people have a natural talent for drawing people in through their presence and general likability. For those who are not lucky enough to have this innate ability, there is a surprising amount of research dedicated to understanding Riz, its various applications, and strategies strategies for developing this skill. Most of this research is associated with the more traditional word form charisma, which is defined as the ability to inspire and influence other people through one's personality. People with charisma are attractive and magnetic, and they exude positive vibes and good energy. As such, being confident is an essential part of developing W-Riz or unspoken Riz. So having a solid plan and sticking to it is an essential element of developing the right kind of Riz. Oh, I see. So being a person who knows what they want, who knows what's going on, the guy with the plan. Yeah, that makes perfect sense. People with W-Riz are good listeners and show genuine interest in other people. And so getting easily distracted during conversation is a fast way to get a reputation for the wrong kind of Riz. Listening to others and showing interest in their stories makes finding common ground, which builds authentic connections, easier. It is these connections that form the foundation of good relationships. The word Riz may be new, but the skills and characteristics that underpin the word are timeless. Fortunately, having good Riz is not limited to people with natural ability to charm others. Anyone can acquire the good kind of Riz with effort, application, and the desire to genuinely connect with other people. In this respect, building confidence is key. Riz is confidence. That's it. But good confidence. Right? Be a nice person. That's it. That's the essay. And the best part is, look, they have all the sources down here in the bottom. Isn't it crazy how I sent them my small little horribly written ChatGPT essay and they gave me this masterpiece, this instruction manual on how to be an awesome person with Riz? That's insane. Killerpapers.org delivered. And this might be the best essay I've ever seen in my life. You guys, I hope you enjoyed that. I hope it was educational and I hope it was entertaining. Like I said, this essay is not being used for anything. I'm not in school. I already went to college. I just wanted to see what would happen, and I'm very happy with the results. I'm Elliot Sims, and thank you so much for watching. At this school during lunch, milk cartons were free, and they were all just sitting on this table. So one day, these 3 fifth graders, they stockpiled 20 milk cartons, shoving them in their backpacks, in their pockets, up their sleeve, and they take them out to recess. They walk over to the brick wall on the side of the building, and they just start chucking the milk cartons against the wall. Yeah, milk! Milk! The milk cartons are exploding, milk is spraying everywhere, a crowd gathers. Kids are cheering, they're watching this like it's a frickin' sporting event. Well, that's when somebody says, "Yo, the principal, he's coming!" Oh crap. The 3 milk chuckers put their hoods up and they just disappear into the crowd. The vice gets there. Alright, who did this? And it was instant snitching, names and details. The principal immediately starts searching for these kids. And there were close calls, but these guys were really sneaky. Hiding against benches, behind trees, in the slide. Somehow, they never get caught, and the rest of the day is a frickin' mission. At lunch, the principal and the vice principal are posted at the table that these kids usually sit at. Oh crap, he's right there. Let's eat in the band room. Milk! That entire day they managed to escape the wrath of the principal. And when school was over, they went home. But the craziest part is, some random kid cleaned up the milk wall by himself, just because he wanted to. When the principal went out and asked him why he was doing this, "Why are you doing this?" "Because it's the right thing to do." That's legendary. "Come here, idiot." Not you again." Every single day at lunch, this same bully would walk by this kid. He would slam his lunch tray down and laugh. "Oops, my bad. I guess you're eating off the floor again." The kid would just pick it up. He would try not to cause a scene, but it kept happening every single day. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Well, finally this kid had enough. He snapped. One day he showed up to lunch with a shiny metal lunchbox. It looked normal and nobody thought twice. But inside the lunchbox were 2 heavy bricks. The thing was heavy, but he was carrying it around like it was normal. So here comes the bully. He's smirking. "Hey, let me help you with your new lunchbox, lunch boy." Oh, okay. And just like every other day, the bully smacks the lunchbox. But right as the bully's hand hits the lunchbox, the kid lets go right above the bully's foot. My toe! I think it's broken. Oops, my bad. And the bully's toe was broken, but it was his own fault. After that day, he did not mess with this kid ever again. Yeah, good. Mr. Donnelly was the new history teacher. Perfectly combed hair, crisp tie, he was very well put together. Then one day, one kid finds him on a bodybuilding website. Apparently, Mr. Donnelly used to compete in bodybuilding competitions. Well, he saw this picture of him. Spray tan, oiled up, posing like a bodybuilder, and his bodybuilding name was Titan Steele. Well, this kid tells a bunch of people in his class. And the next morning, good morning, class. How are we doing today? Good morning, Titan Steele. He's shocked. Excuse me? Oh, sorry, Mr. Donnelly. And by lunch, everybody knew Mr. Donnelly's secret. Hey, Mr. Steele, you gonna bench the vending machine? What you got for lunch today, Titan? A bunch of chicken breasts and protein powder? Oh my god. And he's hearing it all day, every day. Whispers of Titan Steele this, Titan Steele that. By January, he freaking snaps. If one more person says that name, I am quitting Titan Steele. The next day, he was gone and there was a sub. He actually quit that job. I guess he would rather be unemployed than be Titan Steele. Wow, that's absolutely insane. She was holding up a stapler like it was a weapon. This is not a toy. Okay? Then she passes it around the class so that everyone can hold it and look at it for some reason. Now, this is the first day of first grade, and these kids are looking at the stapler like it's gonna frickin' explode. Oh. One kid's cradling it like a baby. Good stapler. Then it gets to him, and without hesitation, he takes that stapler and staples the palm of his hand. The room goes completely silent. Why did you do that? The whole reason the teacher did this was that the students can familiarize themselves with the stapler and not hurt themselves. But this kid said screw it. And now he's in pain. They rush him to the nurse. He gets a staple taken out of his hand. And the funny part is, he did the exact same thing the next week. Some people never learn. This is so freaking cool. So it was fall, and a couple kids, they decide to make a backyard carnival. Obviously, it was nothing official. Just some old toys, a plastic table, and whatever junk they could find. One kid stacked some soup cans on a chair. Knock them down, you win a prize. The other kid taped a bucket to the fence. 3 throws for 1 quarter. But then they got creative. Somebody dragged over a busted wagon and tied it to a bike. And suddenly, it was a roller coaster. You ready, bro? Get in. I'm in, man. Let's go. All right. This is awesome. Another kid tied a tire to a tree branch, and there you had it, a swing. They did it just for them at first, like a fun way to spend the afternoon. But then kids from the block started to show up. Yo, what is this? It's a carnival, bro. Come on. By the end of the day, the entire backyard was packed, and a ton of kids from the neighborhood were bringing their own stuff over. It was insane. Candy, prizes, homemade rides. Parents were even showing up, like, what the heck is happening back here? But they loved it. They thought it was super creative. It wasn't professional. It wasn't safe. But for that one day, that backyard was a freaking carnival, baby. And that's awesome. What is this? Oh, you weren't supposed to see that. So this one teacher, she always had a little black notebook on her desk. Said it was for classroom notes. Everybody assumed it meant grades or it was like a behavior log. No one thought twice, but it wasn't that. It was a burn book. Straight up page after page trashing her students, all by name. One kid was labeled future con artist. One was 5th period manipulator, crybaby. One entry said, can't read social cues. Parents are either clueless or stupid. Like real crazy stuff. And nobody knew until parent-teacher conferences. One mom is sitting down at this teacher's desk for the meeting. The teacher had been flipping through some papers before and left the tiny little notebook open without even realizing it. She gets up and she says, 1 second, I think I left your son's quiz folder in the copy room. I'll be right back. She leaves. The mom's sitting there, waiting. She glances at the teacher's desk, and she sees her kid's name at the top of a page of a tiny notebook. Manipulative, fake with adults, should be bullied, total snake? What is this? She flips a page. Another student. Then another, then another. There's tons of students being roasted in this little notebook by the teacher. She goes to the hallway and flags the parents in who are waiting for their time slot for the conference. By the time the teacher walks back in, all these parents are huddled around her desk reading this little black notebook. She was caught, red frickin' handed. All the teacher could say What's this? Conferences are over. She grabs a little notebook, puts it in her purse, and she leaves the room. And suddenly that teacher is on leave. And she's the stupid one, because the moment you write stuff down like that, you better be prepared for somebody to read it. And they did. That's nuts. When she was in 2nd grade, her older sister got glasses. And instantly, she wanted a pair of glasses as well. So she told her parents.
I can't see the board at school.
So they take her to the eye doctor. He does a test, and she's pretending like she can't see. 2 minutes in, he says, yeah, she's lying. She can see fine. But her parents still believed her. And they're like, no, you better give her some glasses. He writes a prescription, and just like that, a week later, her glasses are ready. At first, she loved them, even though she couldn't really see in them because, well, she lied during that test. But she loved the frames, she loved the attention she was getting, but she kept wearing them for years. And her eyes kept adjusting to the prescription, and the prescription kept getting stronger and stronger. We'll flash forward 10 years, and now every day, she wears a pair of the thickest glasses because she actually can barely see without them now. And she's pretty sure it's because back in 2nd grade, she lied when taking the eye test, and she ruined her eyesight forever. Yeah, that kind of makes sense. I ate half my meatloaf, but she said it wasn't enough. So one day, this kid goes through the lunch line. He gets his lunch tray, meatloaf, peas, chocolate milk, all that stuff, which meatloaf for lunch is crazy, but anyway. He eats a little bit of it. Obviously, it's not that great, so he throws it in the garbage. But a lunch monitor sees this happen and walks over, like she caught him shoplifting. You're wasting school resources. If you're not gonna eat, don't take food. I wasn't hungry. Well, next time you're eating alone. She writes him up on the spot, and the next day he has lunch detention. He walks in expecting to be alone, but there's another kid already sitting there. Very similar story. He didn't finish his corn and got written up by the same lunch monitor. Both of them go home that day and tell their parents. And the parents, they do not take this lightly. Calls get made, emails are sent. Apparently, this lunch monitor has been doing this all year, punishing kids for not cleaning their trays, for not eating every last bite. By the end of the week, she is pulled from the lunchroom. Next week, there's another lady taking her spot. New lunch monitor and a totally better vibe. From then on, if you weren't hungry, you could just throw your food out. What a concept. That lady's insane. Can I go to the bathroom? You know the rules. This teacher had the worst bathroom policy ever. You weren't allowed to just ask. If you had to go, you had to stand up, walk to the front of the room, and explain why you deserved to go to the bathroom. Those were her words, deserved. She said it was about building confidence and reclaiming classroom trust. Mostly, she just didn't believe students were telling the truth. I've seen too many kids abuse the bathroom. If you really have to go, prove it. And so one day, this kid raises his hand. Usually, he avoids asking this teacher to use the bathroom because he just doesn't want to deal with all this. And during this class, he held it in as long as he could, but he really had to frickin' go. So he asks, miss, can I go to the bathroom, please? You're gonna have to convince me. I'm not playing with you right now, miss. Can I please just go to the bathroom? I have to go so bad. You know the rules. Get up here and explain why you should go to the bathroom. Okay, fine. Can I do a visual demonstration? Whatever it takes. And yeah, by visual demonstration, that's exactly what he meant. This is your fault. He goes in his pants right then and right there. And the teacher, get this, she gets angry and sends him to the office. Go to the office now. He goes to the office and explains to the principal what had happened, and the principal did not take this lightly. Instead of seeing a kid disobeying a teacher's rule, he sees a teacher refusing to let students use the bathroom when they have to. After that day, in that class, if you had to use the bathroom, you were just allowed to go. And the principal gave that teacher her last warning. Yeah, she sounds horrible. Christmas break had just started, and this one kid in the neighborhood had a huge yard. His backyard was long, and at the end of it, there was this hill that was pretty big. Well, then it snowed a lot. So he grabbed the shovel and he went to work. He used the snow to make his hill even bigger, and then he carved out 3 different sledding tracks. Yes. Yes. This is gonna be awesome. These tracks had barriers, even jumps. When he was done, he strung Christmas lights around the yard, and he set up speakers blasting holiday music. And pretty soon, all the kids in the neighborhood noticed this, and they all wanted to have some fun. All right, I'm charging $5 to get in, but that includes a sled, Christmas music, and free hot chocolate. I'm in. And that night, the yard looked like a festival. A line of kids from the neighborhood, cash in hand, everybody in snowsuits, sleds sliding down the hill, and Christmas music blasting. Even the parents were there, all hanging out with each other. This is actually pretty cool. I can't believe the kids did this. I know, right? It was a great night, and eventually everybody went home. But that kid used the money he made that night to buy his entire family Christmas gifts, and that is beautiful. Behind the stage in the auditorium, there was this old supply closet. Small, dark, the door was kind of hidden. Nobody ever used it. But this one high school junior, he finds it. He cleans it up and he starts bringing stuff in. He puts cushions on the floor, extra pillows, a lamp from his house, and he had this nice big blanket that had cats on it. At first, it's just for him. He's got a second period independent study, and he starts taking full-on naps in there. But eventually, he tells two of his friends. Then a couple seniors hear about it, and people start asking. He turns this cushiony nap room into a rental. $10 gets you that room for an entire period. One person at a time, quiet, clean, no stress. And here's the genius part. He would set up guards. A kid who would sit by in a folding chair, pretending to read lines. But really, this person's just there to keep an eye on things, make sure the person doesn't get disturbed in the nap room, and make sure that teachers don't come by looking around. And they rotate guard duty based on who had the period free. It's a whole system and nobody ever gets caught. You are a sad excuse for a student. Can you please leave him alone? No. This happened in a 7th grade social studies class. You see, this teacher, she had a reputation. She didn't like to grade papers, so at the start of every class, students had to grade each other's papers for her, and it always had to be done in red pen. Well, one day this kid, quiet, he's kind of awkward, he has trouble focusing, probably like me, he's probably got ADHD. He asks the person next to him, hey, can I borrow a red pen? Before he even gets an answer, the teacher snaps loudly. Don't you dare give him a pen! The whole class just stares. She just starts going off on him. You are a sad excuse of a student, too lazy to even remember your own pen? You will go nowhere in life if you can't remember basic supplies. You are an absolute disgrace. It doesn't stop. She keeps going 10 minutes, then 15 minutes. Pathetic. Worthless. Embarrassment. Other students are getting incredibly uncomfortable. Please leave him alone. Okay, miss, he gets it. Just please stop. But she doesn't. She continues to tear him down in front of everybody. And when it's over, he just sits there, red in the face, tears building in his eyes. Doesn't say a word for the rest of class. Multiple students reported this, parents called the school, but nothing happened. There were no consequences. No apology either. She kept teaching, and he just kept to himself. That is completely messed up. Yo, did they lock the vending machine? Yeah, after what happened to Steven. What happened to Steven? So this kid Steven, 7th grader, he's got a total sweet tooth. Well, one day during lunch, he brings like $15 in change, dumps it in the vending machine, and he goes to town. 6 honey buns, 2 Pop-Tarts, and a pack of powdered donuts. Back to back to back to frickin' back. Now, a teacher walks by and says, hey, that's a lot of sugar, buddy. It's my money and it's my stomach. 2 periods later, Steven is in PE and he's running laps when suddenly he stops dead in his tracks. Hands on knees, face pale, and then he pukes everywhere. Like a full cinnamon glaze explosion all over the gym floor. Janitor shows up unfazed. Because, of course, janitors are frickin' awesome. Well, after that, the principal has a full-on panic attack. The school blames the vending machines. The next morning, padlocks are on both machines, all the snacks have been taken out, and there's a sign there. Until further notice, snacks are suspended. Now kids are furious with Steven, like he's a frickin' honey bun villain. Every time Steven walks down the hallway. Thanks a lot, Steven. Really could've used a Pop-Tart today, man. Screw you. Tried to apologize, but it was too late. Once the snacks had gone, there was no coming back. Poor kid. So there was this one teacher, and he lost his frickin' mind. At this one school, every single spring, there was this thing called Wildlife Week. For one whole week, classes would go outside the school and go into the woods, and they would just explore, learning about wildlife and creatures and stuff like that. It was everyone's favorite week. But this one teacher, older, gray hair, mid-50s, he decided that the kids in his class had to pay a wildlife tax. For this year, kids, you have to pay me if you want to participate in Wildlife Week. The students are sitting there stunned, and one kid was just like, I ain't paying for that, old man. There will be consequences if you don't cooperate. Prove it. Well, that made this teacher incredibly mad, and he snaps. He walks 3 steps towards this kid and just punches him right in the face. The kid's knocked out cold. The teacher's looking around like, oh my god, what did I just do? School security runs in because they heard all the ruckus. They dragged this guy out of the school. He was fired. He went to jail for a little bit. And, yeah, that's it. But, hey, that's crazy. Dumb reasons people broke up. So this person was an EMT, and she was on a second date with somebody. They went to the movies, and they were seeing Twilight, New Moon. Well, about halfway through the movie, she noticed a man 3 rows ahead of her having a seizure. Oh my god. What? That guy's having a seizure. No, he's fine. Just watch the movie. But she knew that he obviously wasn't fine, so she made the theater stop the movie. Stop the film! Stop the film! She then went up to the guy and helped him out until the ambulance showed up. After the guy was taken to the hospital, she noticed her date had left, but he sent her a text. He said that he couldn't believe she made the theater stop the movie for some guy, and that she should have never done that, and that he never wanted to see her ever again. That's nuts. This is the weirdest school business I've ever heard of. My father would send me the story. When she was in 3rd grade, she would bring her pet turtle to school a couple times a week, and she would charge kids $5 a minute to hold the turtle. And people actually paid. I guess they really liked turtles.
I like turtles. All right.
Business was booming, so one day she upped the price to $10 a minute, and kids were still paying to hold her turtle. But she was starting to get money hungry, so she tried to up the charges to $15 a minute to hold her turtle. Well, one kid had enough of her raising the price, so he told the teacher, and the business was shut down. She made $700 in total. This person is the worst. So this guy was on a first date with this woman that he just met. They were having dinner and it was a good time. She then started talking about a time when she was in high school. Her favorite car was a Jaguar, and she really wanted one. But her dad bought her a Prius instead. She wasn't very happy, so she crashed that Prius on purpose. Now that the Prius was crashed, she thought her dad was gonna get her the Jaguar. But no, he bought her another Prius. Once again, she was very upset, so she crashed the Prius again. Her dad must have learned his lesson, because then he bought her a Jaguar. Talk about spoiled. This mom said her son is 12 years old and he loves to play Fortnite. Well, at the end of that particular school year, she saw his final grades, and they were terrible. She was really disappointed in him and was trying to think of a way to punish him, to make him learn a lesson. And she thought of his Fortnite account. So she went on there and permanently deleted it. This kid was freaking out, crying, screaming. He said that he had spent 2.5 years working on that Fortnite account, and that he had some really rare skins. Now this kid refuses to eat dinner with his family and is not talking to his mom at all. She told him that he is responsible for this because he is the one that got bad grades. He thinks that she went way overboard. What do you think? The dumbest reasons people got in trouble at work. This guy was chilling at home when he got a call from a manager of a company. Hello? Oh, hello, Greg. The answers. Well, Greg, you didn't show up for work today, and honestly, I have had enough of your bullcrap. You are a disgrace to the Comcast company. You're ignorant, you're selfish, you're incredibly selfish, you waste all of our time. Your mother would be so disappointed in you, Greg. You can be quiet. What do you have to say for yourself? The call went on for a while, but the thing was, my name isn't Greg, and I definitely don't work at Comcast. I actually just started at Dairy Queen last week, so, but good luck to Greg, huh? Sounds like he's in big trouble. Okay, bye. God darn it. Can somebody give me Greg's phone number? I don't think I have it, but why don't you just ask him what his number is? He's sitting at his desk. Wait, he's here today? Yeah, it's his birthday today. He brought everyone donuts. I had like 3. Shit. Participation is 40% of your grade. This teacher had one rule. If you didn't speak out loud during class, in every class, you would lose points. Didn't matter if you turned in everything. Didn't matter if you tried. If you didn't raise your hand and talk, she would dock you. And one kid, let's call him Aaron, he was trying. He had anxiety. He hated talking in class, but he tried. Miss, I know I don't talk much, but I listen and I do the work and I work hard. Well, that's not how life works, Aaron. If you want a grade, you gotta speak up. Aaron didn't like this, so he started tracking everything. Every time he raised his hand, he wrote it down. Every time he raised his hand and got skipped, he wrote that down. Every time the same 3 loud kids dominate every conversation, he wrote that down as well. Everything was getting documented by Aaron. Well, grades are updated, and his is a C. The reason? Non-participation. The next day, he stays after class. Hey, I saw my grade. You need to speak more, Aaron, I told you. Well, you need to stop ignoring me, or fix your rule, because look at this. He drops a folder on her desk. Pages, timestamps, dates, secret selfies of him actually raising his hand. You say it's about participation, but I've been trying. I've been participating. This system doesn't make any sense. There are days where you just don't call on me. You can go. And he leaves. He thought that he got nowhere with that. But the next week, his grade was silently changed to an A. I think he actually got to that teacher. Because honestly, when I was in school, I hated that type of rule as well. People learn differently, and people participate differently. You gotta respect all of it. Head up. Do you have your nap slip? My what? So this school had a rule. You were not allowed to put your head down on a desk unless your parents signed a literal nap permission form. Like it was a frickin' field trip or something. So this is the type of stuff that would happen. Like one day, this kid named Noah, he got himself a pretty bad headache. He's not faking it, he's not being dramatic, he's just tired and his head is pounding. He lowers his head on his arms for like 2 seconds and the teacher is on him. Hey, head up unless you have the slip. You're kidding me, right? Nope, it's a classroom policy. And for that day, she marked him down as non-participating, and he got a bunch of points taken off. Well, his grade drops, and he's pretty upset by this. This teacher's pretty stubborn, so he's trying to figure out ways to beat her, but he decides ultimately to just follow the rules. He was gonna follow the rules in an awesome way. He went home to his parents. He had his parents create him a nap participation slip. The slip was laminated and it had a lanyard around it. So he comes back with that signed, laminated, customizable nap permission slip. Boom, miss. Certified for the rest of the year. For the rest of the year, whenever he wanted to put his head down or he wasn't feeling too well, he would just pull out a slip and slam it on the desk. Okay. I got clearance, miss. Super weird rule, super weird teacher, but I guess that kid's a legend. I don't know. Wait, forks cost money now? Yeah, and Isaiah's making a fortune off of it. So here's what happened. At this one school, there was a pretty small school. In their lunchroom, they used real forks. Well, these forks started to go missing. Like every day, kids are accidentally tossing them out, leaving them on the ground, or straight up taking them home. Finally, the lunch lady snaps. That's it, new rule. Forks cost 50 cents. If you want one, you pay, and you better return it. Basically, it's a rental fee for your fork. Well, this kid named Isaiah, he sees an opportunity. The next day, he pulls up to lunch with a backpack full of Costco plastic forks. One fork, 25 cents. Two for 40 cents. Tell your friends. It spreads fast. He's got bundles, different colors, custom sizes, some with graphics on them that he calls limited edition. Yo, let me get 2 SpongeBob forks for my ravioli. Say less. The cafeteria staff notices this, and the principal steps in. Are you running an unauthorized utensil ring in my cafeteria? Well, sir, I'm just providing students with a better utensil option. I'm making pretty good money, too. He gets written up, they confiscate his inventory, and by Friday, the cafeteria stops charging for forks. But that never actually fixed the problem, because kids were still taking these forks home or accidentally throwing them away. Hey, what can you do? What can you do? You wrote her up for being sad? She was off task. She was human! You should try it sometime. So this girl's having a rough week. Family stuff, friend drama, just life. She sits down in 3rd period, math class. Doesn't say a word, just starts doing her warm-up problems, but tears are falling from her eyes, quiet and soft. The teacher then walks over to her. Hi, do you need to go to the nurse? Or are you gonna disrupt my class all period? The girl doesn't respond. She just wipes her face and keeps writing. Alright, disruption it is. She writes her up. A full-blown referral. Disruption to learning environment. Ignoring teacher. She then sent her out into the hallway. Not the counselor, not the nurse, to the hallway. And told her to stay there. Later, she shows her mom the slip. Oh my god, sweetie, this is not okay. They punished you for having feelings? The next morning, the mom shows up to the front office. She then walks to the classroom. Class has already started. The teacher looks up. Oh, so crying is disruptive now? You ever heard of empathy, or did they leave that out of your training? This isn't the time or the place. No, I think it is. You humiliated my daughter for feeling something, and you made it public when you wrote her up in front of the entire class. The students are dead silent. Some of them on the edge of their seat like they're watching a frickin' courtroom drama. Print a new referral, this time with your name on it. Come on, sweetie, let's go. And she takes her daughter home for the rest of the day. Please tell me y'all don't have teachers like this. Cause that's messed up. Hey yo, what's your name? Why? Just answer the question, man. So at this one high school, there's this senior named Jordan. And he's not just popular, he's influential. Like, if he were to wear pajama pants to school one day, the next day, half the school would also be wearing pajama pants. If he calls you something in the hallway, people would hear it and that's your name now. And he knows that. Hey, your name? Emily? Cool, that'll be $5. What? You can pay me $5 or I pick something else. You'll pick a different name for me, like what? You don't want to find out. At first, people think he's joking, until one poor kid refuses to pay, and is known as Meat Wallet for the rest of the semester. Even the sub called him that one day. After that, everyone started paying. Yo, did you get a name yet? Yeah, I paid him yesterday. I'm Connor now. But your name is Connor. Exactly. Thank God I paid him. By homecoming, he made over $200. One kid's name is still Pockets, and no one knows why. This was a pretty small town school, so that's probably why something like this was flying around. But in the end, he wasn't just selling names. He was selling protection from pure humiliation. Weird hustle, but I respect it. When this kid was a toddler, his mom would keep him on a leash in the yard. She would clip it on him, and then she would tie the leash to something in the yard. And she let him play while she did the dishes. Well, one day, he's sitting in the yard, and he's eating ants straight off of an anthill. Just literally grabbing them and eating them like they're freaking popcorn. Well, that's when he gets curious. So he takes a handful of this anthill and starts stuffing his pockets. He's stuffing his pockets with ants so he can have a snack for later. This kid then takes the harness off of himself and begins walking towards the street. Just him, free, with a pocket full of ants. The mom sees this and goes outside to start to get him, but as he reaches the road, a van pulls up. This dude opens the van and grabs him and puts him in the van. Yeah, kid, get in, kid. There's another guy inside. There's a guy driving the van and another guy in the back seat. So now it's this dude, the kid, and the other dude sitting in the back seat. Now his mom is losing it. The car peels off. She's screaming, chasing this van. But inside the car, everything changes. The guy who grabbed them starts screaming. What? No. Get him off me! Get him off me! He's thrashing, panicking, because guess what happened? This toddler's pockets, like I said, were full of ants. And now they're everywhere in the van. This guy loses it. He just yanks open the van door and throws this kid into a ditch. Car's gone. The mom finds the kid moments later, alive, well, covered in ants, and eating them. And honestly, that's the craziest story I have ever heard. She planned her son's birthday party. He was turning 13. She was a single mom. She wasn't wealthy, she was just getting by. And her son's birthday lands right next to Christmas. So most years he doesn't get much, but like I said, he's turning 13 years old. It's a milestone, so she saved up. She was gonna plan him an awesome birthday with his friends. Batting cages, cake, games, food, a scavenger hunt with a cash prize. She pulled out 4 $5 bills earlier that week to use for the scavenger hunt. Well, on the last day of school, before this kid's birthday party, there was an event at school that she gave her son $5 for. Later that day, her son's friend comes over to hang out briefly. After they leave the house to go play around in the neighborhood, she goes to the kitchen and sees her purse sitting there, and her wallet is open. And she is convinced there's a $5 bill missing from her wallet. What the heck is this? She calls her son. Did you take $5 from my wallet? He says no. She asks if his friend took it. He says no, my friend didn't take it. And she's convinced he's lying about this, but he's sticking to his guns. I promise you, Mom, I didn't take it and neither did my friend. This is crazy. Well, I just don't believe you, so your birthday party is canceled. I already called the batting cages. It's over. All this over $5. $5 that she might have just lost herself. Maybe her son didn't actually take it. But she canceled his 13th birthday party anyway, and I think that's pretty messed up. How about you? This guy and his buddy were called to do a plumbing job at an old lady's house. She called them because she was hearing some weird noises coming from some pipes in her attic. Oh my god, thank you so much for showing up. I keep hearing noises up there. I have no idea what it is. Oh, don't even worry. Yeah, no, we'll head up there right now and see what's going on. Yeah, don't worry. We got this. And there was nothing wrong. Just old pipes. Yeah, man, looks like everything's fine up here, dude. Probably just some old pipes. I have an idea. Watch this. What did you do? He then walked right downstairs and told this old lady, yeah, ma'am, it's a pretty messed up situation up there. One of the pipes was on the verge of bursting and it just burst. It's gonna be a pretty big job, maybe around $5,000 to fix. Oh, well, I guess I can ask my son for some money. I think I'll be able to pay for it. When can you fix it? Today. I can fix it today. He couldn't believe that his buddy did that. He felt a lot of guilt for not telling that lady the truth. And when he eventually did turn his friend into the company they worked for, too much time had passed. She already paid, the pipe was fixed, and there was no way to prove what he did. Oh my gosh, I'm starving. I need to pull over here soon. Oh, lobster tails, $5. That's perfect. Welcome. Ah, yeah, I'm here for the $5 lobster tails. Okay, $5, please. Yeah. Okay, have a seat. Once upon a time, in a far-off land, there was a lobster. And he was a nice lobster. He had tons of friends. But on this particular day, he went out to adventure. And you won't believe what happened. This girl's parents are super strict. This girl said that her friend had incredibly strict parents. Like, they pretty much didn't allow her to do anything. Well, surprisingly, their junior year of high school, her parents let her go to the prom. Under one condition, she wasn't allowed to dance. Well, she figured, alright, they're not gonna be there. I'm gonna dance anyway, they'll never know. So there they all are, dancing at the prom, having a good time. That's when she saw her parents there, standing in the corner of the school gym. Her parents then went up to her and forced her to leave the prom. They were incredibly angry. She was grounded for the rest of the school year, and over the summer they moved to a new town, and no one from that school ever saw her ever again. His dad was the absolute worst. His dad would burn all of his things as punishment. If he did something that upset his dad wouldn't just burn his toys, he would burn clothes, personal items, anything he wanted to on that specific day. Every year they would go to Meijer and buy new clothes and shoes for the school year, and his dad got mad so often he would end up burning that stuff too, which he didn't understand because now he had to buy him more clothes for school. One year, his dad took him to see the Globetrotters, and they actually had a great night. His dad bought him a basketball and a jersey. Well, the very next day, this kid accidentally left something on the floor of his bedroom. His dad got super mad, and he burned that basketball and jersey he bought for him the night before. That's horrible. Anyway, he said the second that he turned 18, he left that house and never looked back. And he hasn't seen his dad since. So it was senior prank season, and this one might have been the most beautiful senior prank this school has ever seen. It's the last week of school, and the seniors show up. They've got a ladder, a few backpacks, and they're carrying bags upon bags of something. How much you get? 30 pounds. You're kidding. Nope. 30 pounds of confetti. They sneak into the assembly hall where the school organ is. Now the school was about to have an assembly, and for some reason at every single assembly, the music teacher plays the organ. Now it's a giant old organ with these large pipes, and these pipes stretch up to the ceiling. With the ladder set up, they climb up, and they start pouring confetti straight down each of the organ's pipes. And not just a little confetti, pounds of it, until pretty much every pipe is stuffed. Well, only one teacher is in on it, and that's the music teacher. He gave them the green light because that old organ was being thrown out anyway. But nobody else knows about this, okay? So, 2 hours later, the whole school is crammed in for this assembly. The principal gives his speech, and then the organist starts playing. Whoosh! A cloud of confetti blasts into the air like fireworks while this beautiful organ music is playing. With each note, another explosion of confetti goes off. And now it's like a blizzard. Students are cheering. They're trying to catch it. It's beautiful! But the teachers are really confused. Oh my god, what's happening? What's happening? The principal's standing there looking around like the ceiling just collapsed. Meanwhile, the music teacher is just calmly playing the organ while this crazy storm is happening. It's a beautiful sight. By the end, the floor is covered in confetti, the seats are all buried, and the seniors are just looking around like, wow, we did that. And that was it. That organ never played another note, but that prank went down in school history. Have you ever caught a stranger in your house? Well, here's the story. This girl said that her friend Jenna had just moved into a very nice condo, and she finally got to check out her friend's new place. When she arrived at her friend's new condo, her friend was still at work. So her friend told her, yeah, I'll be off soon, just let yourself in. There's a key under the plant out front. Oh, yep, there it is. All right, see you soon. So she let herself into her friend's condo and decided to make herself a sandwich. So she's eating her sandwich, walking around, checking out all the nice stuff her friend has, when all of a sudden the front door opened and a large man with a duffel bag walks in. Oh my god! She threw the sandwich at him and locked herself in the bedroom. She's in there scared. She's shaking. The man's banging on the door. Get out of the room right now! Get out! No, you get out! I'm gonna call the police! You're gonna call the police? I'm gonna call the police! That's when she thought something was off. Why would he call the police? She then looks around and realizes the bedroom definitely seems to be that of a man's bedroom. She then asks him through the door, "Do you know who Jenna is?" "Yeah, she's my next door neighbor." Turns out this guy also kept a spare key under the potted plant out front. What a crazy situation. Yo, whoever made this is sick in the head, okay? It's a bounce house. It's a Pikachu bounce house. Just, everything about it is really messed up, okay? Just see for yourself. This kid's stepdad worked for Coca-Cola, and because of that, there was a rule in their house. No Pepsi products, ever! Not in the fridge, not at restaurants, and not at birthday parties. If they were out to dinner, yeah, I'll take a Coke with my chicken tenders. I'm sorry, we only have Pepsi products. Yeah, nope, pack it up. We are leaving. We're going somewhere else, kids. But my chicken tenders. I said we're going somewhere else. Even when they were hosting parties at their house, if any of their guests came with Pepsi products, pour it out or throw it away. Those are not allowed in this house. I understand some people have a preference between Pepsi and Coke, but this just went a little too far. That dad sounds insane. This is my house and my rules. This one dad ran his house like a frickin' business. Instead of allowance, there was a chore system. Every Sunday night, he'd post a list on the fridge. Vacuuming, dishes, mowing, even stuff like wiping down the baseboards. Alright kids, this is your work week. Everything must be done by Friday. And here's the catch. If something wasn't done, or it was done poorly, you would owe him $5. And no, they weren't losing allowance. They didn't get an allowance. They would actually owe him $5. So Friday after work, he would come into the house. He had a clipboard, and he would check every single thing that he put on the chore list. The bedroom trash can was still full. There was grass clippings all over the yard. That's $10 total. Didn't matter if you had a job or not. If you were in debt that Friday night, you had the weekend to figure it out, or else. One of his kids ended up mowing 3 neighbors' yards. Another one was begging for shifts at the local ice cream shop. Hey, can I please work a few hours today? Who are you? And if you didn't pay him by Sunday night, he would start taking stuff. Game controllers, headphones, even his kids' bikes. There was no limit. And that has to be the craziest thing I've heard in a long time. I'm not gonna say it again. One more sound out of you, Jason, and you're out of here. So one day in class, 2 kids are in the back of the classroom and they're whispering to each other. I told my cat that she's so funny when she does that. Dude, I have so much milk left over from last night. Suddenly, the teacher slams her hand on the desk and says, Jason, that's enough. The whole class freezes. But here's the thing, Jason wasn't even talking. He's sitting there mid-pencil stroke like, huh? I'm not gonna say it again. One more sound out of you, Jason, and you're out of here. Now, a bunch of people saw who was actually whispering, but nobody said a word. Well, Jason takes the L in silence. The next day, there are some class presentations. Well, Jason walks up, he connects his slideshow, and slide 1 appears on the projector. The danger of classroom injustice. Oh boy, here we go. Then Jason starts reading from a flashcard. Let the record show, yesterday I was falsely accused of whispering. I was not whispering. I was taking notes. I was the victim. Slide 2, confirmed witnesses. He lists 3 classmates, first and last names, alphabetical order. Next slide, actual culprits. The final slide. And all I ask is for truth to matter again. Boom, presentation done. He gets a standing ovation. Even the teacher's smiling and laughing, and he gets a B+ on that assignment. The teacher then apologizes for accusing him of something he did not do. Respect. This girl was 13 years old when this happened. Her stepmom had been in her life for 3 years, but they still weren't close. She didn't listen to her stepmom, she didn't really trust her, and she would make that clear.
I don't trust you.
I don't care.
Well, that week, her dad was overseas for a funeral, so it was just her and her stepmom. And he was going to be there for 3 weeks. So every day, her stepmom would pick her up from school at 3. But she would always come out of school late, like 30 to 45 minutes late, which is kind of crazy and a bit annoying.
I've been waiting here for 45 minutes. This is the 3rd day in a row.
And the kid would just roll her eyes.
Get over it.
So one day, the stepmom decides she's not going to wait. She's not going to show up. She's gonna let her figure it out herself. So the next day, she doesn't go to the school. She stays home and then she just waits. So at 7 p.m., she finally is like, yo, I should call my stepdaughter. But she doesn't answer. So she calls the school. Hi, yes, I'm wondering, is Kayla Johnson still there? Kayla Johnson? No, she walked home at around 3:30. Oh no. Yeah, she messed up. She panics, she calls the neighbors, she calls the police. Eventually, they find her in somebody's backyard a few blocks away. What happened was she tried cutting through yards to get home. Well, one yard had a dog, and it bit her in the leg. Badly. She limped away, realized her phone was dead, so she sat down and just cried. I mean, yeah, she shouldn't have went through someone's backyard, but still, this girl's 13. Her stepmom is responsible for her. The dad caught a flight that night. Are you kidding me? You let this happen. I'm at the airport right now. I am
So done.
The daughter now has a permanent scar, and the dad left the stepmom. And like I said, the girl was 13 years old. You can't just do that. Messed up. It's a sleepover at his friend's house. They're sitting down talking when somebody mentions a microwave. I almost microwaved my fork. That would have been crazy. Why would that be crazy? Everyone's like, you can't microwave metal, man. You didn't know that? No, and I've never tried. They explain to him that it's bad to microwave metal, like fire hazard bad. Well, they all go to sleep, and this kid's laying there. He can't stop thinking about it. Metal, microwave. Microwave, metal, microwave, metal. Metal, microwave, metal. He just can't let it go. Staring at the ceiling, he decides, ugh, I need to find out for myself. So he goes into the kitchen of his friend's house, opens the silverware drawer, grabs a handful of forks, knives, and spoons, puts it in the microwave, and presses start. For the first 3 seconds, nothing happens, but then, crackling, sparks, a flash bright as the sun, and then flames. The microwave is now fully engulfed in flames, and the cabinets start on fire. Fire alarms are going off, everybody in the house wakes up and they go outside. The fire trucks arrive and they're putting this fire out. Luckily, it's not too bad. The kitchen was pretty messed up though, but the entire neighborhood was outside in their pajamas watching this thing happen. And obviously, they found out who did it. Bro, we just told you about metal in the microwave. I had to see it. And that, my friends, is nuts.
Okay, so I have the Bulldog ramen, but this time it's 2 times spicy. So I thought this one was spicy, but this one looks crazy.
Now we're gonna boil some water. Now that it's boiling, we put this into the boiling for 5 minutes. It's been 5 minutes, now we drain the water. Now it says to add the 2 times spicy hot sauce. Then you add, last step is the pepper flakes. Oh my gosh.
Okay, so I think if you like spicy stuff, this is gonna be awesome for you. I'm not sure how I'm gonna handle it, so I'm gonna take one bite. Let's see. Delicious, but very, very spicy.
So this kid gets yelled at for not turning in math homework. Teacher goes, "You'll never make it in the real world like this." And the kid said, "I'm not trying to make it in your world." The class laughs, the teacher's annoyed. Well, here's the thing. This kid's been working with his cousin on buying and fixing up old vending machines. They would then stock it and put it places. By senior year, he's got a handful of these vending machines. And he's pulling more money from these machines than most people make at full-time jobs. And it reminded me of this book I read, 5 Types of Wealth. It'll help you rethink how you're living your life and how you're spending your time. And what this book goes over will lead to success and happiness in multiple areas of your life. I promise. Craziest things found in fast food. In 2015, this man, Mr. Dixon, went to a KFC. He ordered the chicken tender meal to go and he took them home to eat them. But as he was sitting down enjoying these chicken tenders, one of them tasted strange and was kind of chewy. He then gave that piece a closer look and he saw what looked to be a deep fried mouse. Completely disgusted, he took a picture of it and posted it on Facebook. The next day, he took it back to the KFC and he told the manager. And the manager freaked out and said, "Yes, I am so sorry, that is a mouse. Would you like a free meal?" she said. He declined the meal, took that fried piece of mouse back home and hired a lawyer. But the people at KFC corporate were not buying it. They had this guy send that mouse to their offices to be tested. And I guess it was actually chicken and not a mouse? That seems a little sketchy because that manager was pretty sure it was a mouse. Black markets kids ran in their schools. This one is absolutely insane. So this kid in middle school ran a revenge business. He wouldn't hurt anybody at all. That wasn't part of his business. But anything aside from that had a price. He carried a notebook around with suggestions of things he could do for revenge. If somebody wanted to get revenge on a classmate or something, they would come, look at his notebook, see what they can afford, and then hire him to perform that revenge plot. If somebody wanted to get the ultimate revenge, they would pay him for the ultimate package. And this is what it is. This kid would get a garbage can, fill it with milk, eggs, meat, and roadkill that he would find on the side of the road. He would then put the lid on it and keep it out in his backyard in the heat until it started to rot. Then he would bring this garbage can to the person that he was hired to get revenge on. He would take the lid off, lean the garbage can against the door, knock on the door, and run away. Now, when someone in the house opened the door to answer it, that garbage can would fall in and spill everything everywhere, causing a rotten, disgusting, smelly mess. He told me he was never caught, he never got in trouble, and he made over $700.
This is the Plod Note. It's a ChatGPT voice recorder, and with this, you'll never have to take notes ever again. It records meetings, entire phone calls, it attaches to your phone, and then in the app, it'll list the most important details and summarize the conversation or the meeting or the lecture. It's super sleek as well and small, and the battery lasts forever. The Plod Note is a game changer. I'm gonna use it for everything.
How to deal with a bully. Let's dive right in. Look, there's Steven.
What a loser. Hey, Steven! Oh, what's up, Billy? Bro, you're an idiot and nobody likes you. What'd you say? I said you're an idiot and no one likes you, man. Loser. Hey, are you okay, man? What? I'm just wondering if you're okay, man. Why are you so mean and uptight? Is everything good at home? Shut up, dude. No, for real, man. Cut the crap. Honestly, are you good? Actually, man, it's been pretty rough at home. My parents have been fighting a lot recently. Thanks for asking. Yeah. Cry, baby! Guys, look, he's crying!
You're so dumb. Your parents are getting a divorce. You smell like my mom.
This woman was arrested. Here's why. So her son was in like elementary school or middle school, I think, and he told her one day that he was getting bullied by some kid at school. This kid would always steal his water bottles and his drinks and stuff like that, and call him names. Well, she couldn't stand to hear that. Her name is Jennifer Rossi, and she came up with a plan to get back at this bully. One day, she mixed together lemon juice, vinegar, Gatorade, and salt into a sports bottle. She gave it to her son to take to school the next day. And like clockwork, during PE class, this happened. Hey, idiot. Yeah? Give me your water bottle. Okay. Apparently, the kid then got violently ill and was sent to the hospital. There was then, of course, an investigation, and that's when police found out that this woman was the one who deliberately made this drink to give to the bully. What do you think about all this? You shouldn't have stolen the water bottle, right? It's crazy that she's in jail. Dumb reasons people got in trouble at school. It was grade school and it was the end of the day. This kid got on his bus, but the bus driver had to wait a few minutes to leave because there were still some students making their way to the bus. So the bus driver suggested they sing a song. Alright students, we're gonna be heading out here soon, but while we wait, let's do a little sing-along, okay? Let's sing Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. That's when this one kid said this. Twinkle Twinkle Little Star sucks. What did you say to me? Twinkle Twinkle Little Star sucks? That's it. The driver then went back to where this kid was sitting and dragged him off the bus and pulled him by the arm to the principal's office. Come on, come on! What the heck? Yeah, Miss Henley, this kid threatened me. You should give him a detention, make him stay. I did not! Sit down. I'm calling your parents. His parents were then called and they were forced to pick him up. They raised this issue to the school superintendent. He then checked the footage of the bus, and they obviously saw that this kid didn't do anything that bad. In fact, the bus driver shouldn't have grabbed him like that. He was fired. This vice principal is the worst. This guy said that it was the beginning of his senior year in high school, and he was sitting at lunch with a bunch of his friends. He was drinking a Snapple. Dude, no, that is totally crazy. Doesn't make any sense. No, bro, I'm serious. She's a whole snack. When all of a sudden, his Snapple slipped out of his hands and shattered on the floor. No, it's... Oh, no. Well, the school's new vice principal was in the lunchroom that day. She heard the crash and saw him picking it up, and she freaked out. You, come with me. No, now, no, you. What did I do?
You used a glass bottle as a weapon. You were trying to cut someone.
I dropped it. She took him to the principal's office. He was freaking out. It was an accident. She was so mean that he was crying. He was suspended for a week and his parents had to pick him up that day. Well, 2 days later, the vice principal checked the security tapes, and she saw clearly that it was an accident.
We saw the videotape, it was an accident, but you can understand why I would think what I thought, right?
Can I go to class now? Fast forward to the end of the year. It was that high school's graduation. Billy Stevenson. You. Black markets kids ran in their schools, a follower submission. When this kid was in middle school, he ran a study guide business. And these weren't your run-of-the-mill study guides. These were well-detailed, easy-to-cover documents that covered every single major test and quiz for the whole school. He had a group of students working for him. They were called the contributors. They would help him write and construct these study guides. He sold these study guides for $10 to $20 depending on the test. He also hired some of the bigger kids in school to be the muscle. The muscle kept the blacklisted kids from playing any playground games, like basketball or soccer. Kids could be blacklisted for a number of reasons, like borrowing a study guide and never paying back what's due, or for lending a study guide to any non-paying individual. This dude sent me screenshots of the documents he actually used. This is the terms and conditions that came with every single study guide. Pause if you want to read. This is the blacklist Excel sheet. He even had an employment contract for every single one of his employees. He was very efficient. He made about $100 a week, and $600 a week for the bigger tests. And all I can say is for middle school, this is one hell of a business. What would you do for a shamrock shake? Well, this dude went to great lengths. He was sitting in English class one day. His English class was on the first floor of the building. As he was sitting there, he realized Today's the last day of the year for Shamrock Shakes. He had to do something. He didn't want to wait till after school because they could be all gone by then, or they could stop selling them early. But he had to get his hands on one last Shamrock Shake, so he waited until his teacher's back was towards them. He then quietly opened the classroom window and jumped out. He ran to where his bike was locked up. And he biked all the way to McDonald's. Shamrock, Shamrock. He got there, he went in, he ordered 1 Shamrock Shake, please. And they gave it to him. A fresh, green Shamrock Shake. He biked back to school with his Shamrock Shake, locked his bike up, climbed back through the window, and sat down in his desk. Well, obviously the teacher saw him climb back in with the shake, and he was given a detention. But he said it was absolutely worth it. Hey, yo, Steven, what'd you get in the test yesterday? I got a C. I got a B, idiot. You, man. Bro, you swore. I'm telling the teacher. You better not. Yes, Gregory? Can I go to the bathroom? Yeah, sure. You? What'd you say? Office, now! Oh, man. Hello? Is anybody in here? What's up? Yo, are you only wearing one sock? What the frick, dude? I don't want to talk about it, okay?
If you're like me and your phone is always dead, you gotta get this. It's called the INEU PowerPaw, and this is one of the fastest portable chargers I've ever seen. I charge it up fully. I love that little paw that lights up. And this thing lasts forever, and it's a super fast charger. I'm charging my phone right now. You can charge up to 3 devices at the same time. It even comes with this cool carrying case. The INEU PowerPaw is a game changer, and I highly recommend this product. You're missing out if you don't have it.
I hate going to the dentist, and if I was this person, I would throw up from embarrassment. Alright, so the person that shared the story, she said it was the first time seeing her new dentist. He was working on her teeth, and he says something like, "You're doing great. I know it's always weird having a stranger work on your teeth for the first time, but you're doing great." To which she responds, "Oh, you're not a stranger. You've been inside my mouth for 20 minutes now." His face got so red and he was immediately embarrassed, and she was mortified. What did she say? Why did she say that? She did not intend to make a raunchy joke like that. Well, her dentist remained professional. He finished the appointment, and she left. A couple months passed, and now it was time for her second appointment with this dentist, and she told herself that she was going to be on her best behavior. She wasn't even going to say a word to him. She's in the dentist chair, he's working on her teeth, and all of a sudden he gets very uncomfortable and red in the face. And she's like, "What did I do? I didn't even say anything." Well, it turns out her dentist was wearing flavored gloves, and she had been absent-mindedly licking his fingers the entire time, and she didn't even know it. After that, she never went to that dentist ever again. An old man was lying in his bed, dying, when he smelled his favorite cookies being made. He rolled out of bed, crawled into the kitchen, and saw the cookies sitting on a tray on the table. And with all of his strength, he reached to grab a cookie. That's when his wife smacked his hand and said, "What are you doing? Those are for the funeral. Get back in your bed." Goodness. Sometimes schools have the dumbest rules. For example, this guy shared a story about his middle school. His teacher had a very weird rule about asking to use the bathroom. Students were not allowed to ask if they could use the bathroom. They had to call it the Thunderbox. "Excuse me, miss?" "Yes, Barnabas. Can I use the Thunderbox?" "Yeah, absolutely. Hurry up, though." But if kids didn't say Thunderbox and they said bathroom instead, well, "Miss, can I use the bathroom?" "What did you say to me?" "Can I use the bathroom?" That's strike 1. 2 more, and it's a detention. Bro, Thunderbox. "Can I use the Thunderbox?" "Yes, go." That's the weirdest thing I've ever heard. This person said that her daughter had just gotten braces, and because of that, she has painfully chapped and cracked lips. Well, one day her daughter came home with a note from the teacher. "What is this?" "It's a note from Miss Johnson." "What in the world?" The note said that her daughter had broken the no applying makeup in class rule, and if she did it again, she would get a detention. But the thing is, she wasn't applying makeup. She was putting on chapstick. So the mom told the teacher this, but the teacher didn't care. She forced the mom to get her daughter a doctor's note so she can use chapstick in class. School rules can sometimes be whack. For example, in this person's second grade classroom, there was a 3 strikes rule. After the 3rd strike, everyone would have to call you Poopy Poo McPoohead. Hey, what are you doing this weekend? Steven, that is strike 3, okay? For the remainder of the class, you are now Poopy Poo McPoohead, okay? Stacy, what's his name? Poopy Poo McPoohead. Very good, back to work. And if another student would forget to call that person Poopy Poo McPoohead, they would get a strike. Hey, Steven. Billy, what are we calling him today? Poopy Poo McPoohead. That's right. That is 1 strike for you now. That's crazy.
গত রাত তোমার এমন অবস্থা ছিল তুমি তো অ্যাড্রেস বলতে পারছিলে না তারপর কি করব জসিমউদ্দিন অনেক
কোথায় নিয়ে যাবা
আরে তুমি ভুলে গেছো আজকে রাত তন্ময়ের বাসায় পার্টি আমরা তো সবাই মিলে এটা
চলছে না সবকিছু একদম নীরব সেটাই ওইটা প্যারা নেই ওইটা ম্যানেজ করে নিব তুমি বলো নো আই এম সিরিয়াস আজকে এখন
আমি একটা অন্যায় করে ফেলছি আমাকে মাফ করে দাও
কি অন্যায় করছিস তুই
শুধু বাসার সবাই ভালো আছে এসো ভিতরে এসো
সুমন ভাইয়ের ছেলে সালমানের সাথে যদি বিয়েটা ছিল না
বলে ফেলো
কি একা একা
আমি আর কখনোই যাবো না এসব পার্টিটাতে সব বাদ আমি তোমাকে ছুঁয়ে
এই ধরবি না তুই আমাকে জিশা মুভিটা দেখছেন
না এখনো দেখা হয়নি
খুব সুন্দর মুভি মুভি
কিভাবে খবর পায় ওরা আমরা আসার আগে আগে সেইটা খোঁজো নাইলে এই সিন্ডিকেট ধরা যাবে না চলো সামনের দিকে চলো
টাকা
হ্যাঁ এটা তো দেখেই বুঝতেছি একদম সেম কেস আমাদের রুগী যে বাস বসে এই হাসপাতালের সামনে ম্যাক্সিমামই কিন্তু ভাই দালাল এক রোগ হইব আর পাঠাইবো আরেক ডাক্তারের কাছে
চল একটু দাঁড়ান আমাকে একটু লইয়ে যান মোরা তো চিনি না টাকা পয়সা আছে
মারে ওষুধ কিনতে টাকা লাগে না আর আমাদের যা হওয়ার তো আম্মা হয়েই গেছে খারাপ কত বন্ধু বান্ধব সেখানে চাষ পাইনি এর তো কোনো কথা ছিল না
এই হাসপাতালে কয়টা পিএইচডি করা ডাক্তার আছে তাতে সন্দেহ আছে আমি যে পিএইচডি করা বাট পারে তো কোনো সন্দেহ নেই
মনে হয় খেপে ব্যস্ত আছে হইতে পারে আশপাশে মনে হয় কোনান জানি বুঝাইতে আছে আমার কামান
না দাদা আমাকে ভুল আছে অনেক এই যে লোকগুলো আমরা ঠিক করছি
কথা কইছ না যে যেরকম আছে থাক কাম করতে থাকবে না
দাদা এর মধ্যে আজকে আবার সমস্যায় কদেই
Tatimina mangen nati tatimina. Wira jam manger pala.
আমি চাই তুমি ভালো থাকো। আর শোনো যে জাহাজটা যদি সত্যি সত্যি বানাও তাহলে আমাদেরকে ইনভাইট করো, হ্যাঁ?
তুমি সারাক্ষণ সমুদ্রের সাথে ফিসফিস করে কথা বলবে আর আমি হিংসে করব। আমার হয়তো একটু সাহস বেড়েছে। বোকা ছেলেটা প্রেমে করেছে।
আর বিড়ি নিয়ে গেছে, বিড়ির প্যাকেট একটাও ছাড়া নাই, সবগুলো দুমড়ে মুচড়ে বের হয়ে চলে গেছে। খাবো কি?